Okay, welcome everyone to our Wednesday call. Really appreciate you all taking time today to join us this afternoon, depending on where you are, or early morning. We'll go ahead and get this call started by getting some updates from Angie. We have 5 days left, basically, on our month. So we want to, Chris, I love that shirt, by the way. I just noticed that right now. Love that active shirt. But we'll get some updates on where we at and see what Angie has planned for our closing of this month.
Okay, thank you, Stu. So as Stu stated, we have 5 days left in the month. We are working late, so our call center is going to be working late on Friday. And so we're going to be working late Friday until 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And then we are going to have our call center open on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Mountain Time. And then if you have any problems with getting any orders in on the weekend to close your ranks, we are going to be available on Monday to help you finish up the month. So, and we'll be working late on Monday as well to be there to assist you, to make sure that if you had any issues, we will help you get them taken care of and make sure that you close your rate. So as you're ending the month, give me one. So since we are ending the month of October, what you need to be doing is looking at your downline and see who has or hasn't ordered. You can also look in your back office to see who is close to hitting the next rank and be working with those people to make sure that they hit the rank. So in your back office, if you go to your team, you can organize your team by the organizational volume and sort it so it's highest volume to lowest volume. And then you can see who has a lot of volume, and you can click on their name and see how close they are to getting to that next rank. If you help people rank advance, it's going to help you rank advance. So that's a good thing to focus on, especially these last 4 days. And then also, when you click on my team, you can also sort the PV from the lowest to the highest so that you can see who has or hasn't ordered, or who needs additional PV to qualify for their ranks. So this should be some really good things that you work on for the last 5 days. We still have our promotion for the month of October that is running, which is any enrollment of 200 PV or more will get a free bottle of genomics. So take advantage of that. If you know anyone that is interested, or if you talked to them in the past, this is a great time to revisit with them. And get them enrolled and get them an extra bottle of genomics. So, so last few days, we want to be sure that taking advantage of the promotion, we're closing the month, we're helping the people get to their next rank, those that are close, and making sure that everyone has their qualifying order in for the month. So that's going to help you hit your rank, and also, as a broken record, this is probably the last week I'm going to say it. This is the last month to qualify for the incentive trip. So be sure you have your plan for these next 5 days to be qualified. You have your own personal rank advancements. You have the rank advancements of your personal enrollment. You have enrollments that are going to qualify for points. One thing that we recently changed is the personally enrolled rank advancements. We changed it so that instead of like an A4 and A5 counting for one set of points, you get points for someone rank advancing to A4. You get points for someone rank advancing to A5 and A6 and all the way up through the ranks. So we wanted to make sure that as you help people rank advance, you're getting the credit for it and getting those points to qualify for the incentive trip. So have your plan ready, help people get their orders in, help people hit those next ranks, and we're going to have a great end of the month for October. So Stu, that's all I have, and I'm going to turn the time back over to you.
I love it, Angie. Thank you. Thanks for the update. So help your guys' personal enrolling people rank advance, and then you get points. So you got 5 days to do it. The more people we get on this incentive trip, the funner it'll be, but more so it'll be something that you guys can take back to your guys' team. So we had our weekly call last night, and we had Dr. Rich Patel on there, and he had wonderful information as well as wonderful anecdotal experiences with Optiman, him being a pain management doctor, the fact that people that he golfed with got to use the product and weeks later tell him how wonderful it is speaks volume to the products that we have. But it was a great call. I know David was on that call, participated on that call. And so I'm going to hand the time over now to David to just talk a little bit about the call and to give our motivational talk to wrap us up strong for this month.
Thanks, Stu. Well, one thing I want to comment on is I'm surprised that Stu didn't, but we've actually been reconfiguring our office here in Salt Lake City. So I'm in a different office that's kind of in a little bit of disrepair. And because of the lighting, I have a particularly strong halo effect on my camera. You noticing that? That's awesome. I'd like to say that I'm very angelic, but I'm really not. That's usually something that Stu brings up, but I do have this kind of, and I'd like to say it actually is due to Amora. One of the things I was looking at today was all the benefits and the science and the ingredients behind Amora, by the way. Sometimes we don't talk about the Amora line as much as we should, but it really is incredible in terms of the active ingredients. Dr. Patel, referring to him last night, I'm actually kind of surprised that he didn't bring this up, because here he is, a pain management doctor. He's very well aware of Optimend and not only the science behind it, but the experiences of himself and other people that have used Optimend. He recommends it in his practice, all the things you heard about last night. He takes genomics every day. He takes Link every day. I think it says a lot when a physician who has access to all types of things, including prescription drugs, says, I use these products. But one thing he didn't say last night that you perhaps have heard him talk about in the past is that he loves Amora. And he often tells about his experience. He mentioned last night about the fellow out on the golf course that was struggling with arthritis and had been taking prescription drugs and over-the-counter drugs and also other turmeric and curcumin products. Wasn't really helping. So Dr. Patel recommended Optimend, and within a couple of weeks, the guy came back and said, the pain is 75% gone, which is a tremendous improvement. But what he failed to report was what he talks about in terms of another person at the club where he was golfing after the winter layoff, because he lives in New York, and so they don't, they can't golf all year round. And he had not seen this guy in a long time. And the guy says, man, what are you doing? And he says, well, what do you mean? And he says, you just look so much better. You look younger, your skin looks better. And Rish loves telling that story. He tells it all the time. So I'm kind of surprised that he didn't. And it kind of reminds me, if you're ever losing motivation and you're wondering what to do next, take a page out of the success guide, follow it, but also remind yourself of just what you have your hands on, because it will rejuvenate your enthusiasm as you remind yourself of the benefits of the products. I want to share my screen here if I can do that, Angie. I can find out what I was just about to put on there. Hang on a second. Oh, I thought I'd posted it, but I haven't. Let me see if I can do this real fast. Hang on. Angie, start talking while I'm doing this.
I'm not good at coming up with stuff like right off the top of my head. I need more time to plan, but I guess I can fill the space with just rambling from I'm not very good at.
You're doing great. Let's see if I can do this. Let's see if I've got this.
David,
now.
I can do more short for ball jokes if you want to.
There you go. Here's what I want to share. So can you see this picture of my granddaughter? Her name is Annie. She was named after my wife, Anna, but she goes by Annie. And she loves princesses. So she's in one of her princess little nightgown dresses. And she's 5 years old and she's learning how to read. And she's reading Green Eggs and Ham, a classic by Dr. Seuss, right? And if I were to play the video a little bit longer, you'd listen to her sounding it out and trying to work out each of these words. And it's a little bit hard for her, but she wanted to do it all on her own. And what was interesting to me is that she's got two older brothers and a younger sister. And the two older brothers, fortunately, did not say what older brothers sometimes do. They come along and say, oh, that's a stupid book, or reading is stupid, or why do you want to do that? Because that would totally rob her of her enthusiasm for reading. And sometimes that happens, doesn't it? Sometimes people come along and say, oh, you're involved in network marketing? Oh, that's stupid. Don't you know nobody makes any money? Or even people within our own organization might say, well, what about this product, or what about the science on this? I had a recent experience with my brother. My brother is just about a year and a month younger than me, and so still a very young guy. And he recently had severe hearing loss in one of his ears, and it's basically a neurological condition that he's been suffering from, and so I talked to him about the product. He told about our products. He told me what the condition had been diagnosed as, and I went and did some research, and I found out that in his particular, this condition is a neurological condition, and that there's a strong oxidative stress component to it, and that also that butyric acid could be helpful in regards to this particular condition. So he's a professor at a university, and he's done very well in he's a political science professor. He's actually become a very renowned expert in his particular field. And so I sent him the studies, and I said, listen, I think this could be helpful for you. And I was somewhat dismayed when he got back to me and said, oh, well, I looked at the studies, and basically the study was done in an open share format, which is not really a very reputable format. The study was only 8 pages long, and so he was critiquing everything about the study without really looking at the science, or more importantly, really looking into it to see if it would actually help his condition. And we have a good relationship as boys. We often argued back and forth, as you can imagine. I went to law school, so I became a professional arguer, and he became a professor. So he's also kind of a professional, debater. And I was very curious as to why, if he had such, if medicine and doctors had not been able to help him with his hearing loss, why he wouldn't basically try almost anything, as long as it was safe and effective, even if it didn't have all the science in the world or didn't meet his standards. But he just chose to focus on those things. I did say, his name's Steve. I said, Steve, if you had a student write you a paper and take a particular position and support it with the logic that you are using as to why you don't want to take our products, you would probably give your student an F, because the logic doesn't work here. But nevertheless, you can't force somebody to do something they don't want to do. And I think sometimes we find ourselves doing that. Even with the best of intentions, we find ourselves focusing on something that is a little bit negative. Maybe there's an ingredient we don't quite like. Maybe there's an approach we don't quite like. Maybe there's a presentation that someone did that didn't strike us as quite right. What I would tell you to do, or suggest, I can't tell you to do anything, but what I would suggest that you do is focus on the positives. You've heard the phrase that our attitude determines our altitude, and that's really true. I don't know anyone who has an inherently negative outlook on life that is as successful as they want to be, is fun to be around, and has a great impression upon other people. On the other hand, when people do look for the best in others, when they look for positive, you don't have to have a Pollyanna attitude. You don't have to say everything's beautiful when it's not. But when you're focusing on the things that are positive, and then you bring up your concerns in the right way, and in the right place. For example, if people had concerns about the products or any ingredients in our products, I would actually suggest that you come directly to me or to Angie or something like that, as opposed to, in front of your whole team, bring up, what your concern is, because guess what? It may not have really been that big of a concern to you, but you may now have raised what is a molehill or a very small concern might have just become this huge issue to them when you didn't even mean to do it. And so I use that example of my granddaughter reading to say, hey, your attitude can get you through things that are kind of tough. It's hard for her. I watched her struggle as she sounds out those words. It's not easy for her. And as we start out and we're building our business, it's not easy for us either. We're learning new things. We're learning how to present. We're learning how to share in ways that sometimes makes us feel very self-conscious, that maybe we don't have the abilities to do these things. But I can tell you again, just as her ability to read will increase and improve as she goes, as she puts in the time, continues to work at it, and pretty soon she'll graduate from one Dr. Seuss book to two Dr. Seuss books to other books that are a little bit more difficult to read. Your capacity, our capacity, will improve as you continue to put the time in, as you continue to practice. And likewise, Annie's ability to read won't improve if she listens to people who say that reading is stupid, if she decides that that's not what she wants to do, and other than being forced to read at school or by her parents, her progress will just be stunted. So as we finish up this month, I would just suggest that all of us do so by remembering what brought us to ACTIVZ in the first place, that we really wanted to activate various aspects of our life, our health and our business. We talked about this being the last opportunity to qualify for the incentive trip. Well, you know what? It's not the last opportunity to qualify for your incentive trip. You might not be able to, in the last 5 days, qualify to go to Costa Rica. But if you work hard and you say, listen, I am going to qualify. I'm going to qualify for an incentive trip. I'm going to run this month. I'm going to go as fast as I can. That provides the basis for next month. And all of a sudden, you might have qualified for your own incentive trip to take your family to Disney World or to take them to someplace else. It's whatever incentivizes you. And so just because one goal might seem a little bit unapproachable right now, it doesn't mean we shouldn't run for it. The harder we run, the closer we will get. And even if we didn't get quite accomplish that particular feat, we'll be much closer to what ultimately got us into the business in the first place. And so that's really it. I don't know if those were motivational words or not, but I can tell you this, that being with all of you inspires me every time we do this. I look forward to these calls. Whenever I miss them, I feel like I've really missed out on something important in my life. And I want to let you know of some upcoming things that are going to take place. We've mentioned that we have the 4th anniversary event in Mexico City. You're all invited. Don't know if you can all make it, but we hope to see as many people as we can. I know some people that are on the call are going to make it. We have our ACTIVZ school that's going to take place November 13th. As usual, we have a great lineup. You'll be hearing more about who's going to be participating in that in the days ahead. I have a great opportunity of going out to Virginia that same weekend and having a meeting with Susie Boyd and some of the folks out on the East Coast in the Virginia and Mid-Atlantic area. I'm looking forward to that and seeing all of them and wondering just how close their Zoom picture resembles them in real life. That's always fun for me to see what people have done. And I think also we've got other great events coming up with continual Zoom meetings, opportunity meetings, and ACTIVZ is just buzzing. So keep it up, work hard, run fast, and you'll be amazed at the things that you can accomplish. So anyway, thanks everybody. Stu, Angie, back to you.
Thanks, David. I love that your attitude determines your altitude. I didn't hear that one before, but really love it. And the more positive you are, the higher you'll lift everyone around you. And David, I must say, I'm not on Shakespeare, and I already have 2 master's degrees. So, reading Dr. Seuss's book, it's still my level. But nonetheless, I know everyone's at different levels, at different stages, especially here at ACTIVZ. And so just as long as we get better every day, just like any athlete would, through practice and through games, that's where we are. So Thank you, David, for your kind words. One thing you did fail to mention, remember last week we talked about A6, the first week in December. That fly-in is still available. So just want to wish everyone good luck and keep working towards being an A6, and we'll invite you to the fly-in. So with that being said, Angie, I will turn the time over to you for a wheel of names.
All right, thank you, Stu. And for those of you that missed the medical forum call last night with Dr. Rish Patel, I did post a link to the recording in the chat. So be sure to check it out. I'm going to say it's probably one of our best medical forums that we had. So check it out, listen to what Dr. Patel has to say. Like David said, it's nice to know that that he takes the products as well and he benefits the products. So go check out that link, and we're going to do our wheel of names for our raffle. So let me share my screen really quick. And why don't we let's do 4 names today. So here we go. We're going to spin for the first name. All right, Florencia. Could put your ID in the chat, and we will get you your 60 reward points. Okay, next person. All right, Gustavo. Again, if you could put your ID in the chat as well, then we'll get you reward points. All right, Jolene, and I have your ID number, so Jolene, we can get you your points as well. And last spin, so let's see where our winner's going to be. Griselda! Woo! All right, Griselda, I have your ID, so I will get you your reward points as well. So thank you all for joining. And be sure to check out that recording if you guys didn't get a chance to join us last night. I think you'll be very impressed with the knowledge of Dr. Patel and everything he had to say. Thank you all, and we will see you next week.
See you, everybody.
See ya. Thank you.